Okay guys, so this is kind of a hard one to review, but once I actually start showing the detail of it, it'll be more visible. This will be the review of the NZG 11200 Luffer and extension kit. As you could tell, this jib is pretty long, and this one does include the extension kit. And I want to get right into this one, and then at the end I'll tell you what I think of it. So, to start off, I just have to adjust some camera settings here. The first part they give you in the kit is the Luffing Drum, and that's this whole piece right here. And you use the same keys as you would turn any other winches, and to show you how it turns, you simply just push in right there and to lower it or bring it in. Now, when you do get it, they give you actually two drums, and I believe the other one comes in the pocket right here. But what you want to do is unravel the other drum and then wind as much string as you can onto this one, and you'll have extra string left over, and then just cut it off. The reason is because the way they made this bridle is actually so nice that you never have to re-reeve it if you ever want to take the jib off the crane. And the reason that is simply because if you look right here, there's these forks, and on the actual bridle you could bring it in like the real crane and then lock it in there so it never has to be re-reeved. And it works good like that if you do the method where you roll enough string in and then cut it off, because if you unravel the whole other drum and use every bit of string you have, there's not enough room in this drum, and you'll have to reeve the bridle every time. So it's something that NZG should have put in the instructions, but they didn't, and you know, it has its ups and downs. Anyway, another bad thing, and it's really probably the only bad thing on the Luffer, is if you notice right there, there's that little hole, and there's one on the other side, and that's to screw the whole drum mechanism in. The holes don't line up with the screws, so it's impossible to screw that in. The back ones work fine. They're right there. As you could tell, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a screw right there. The best thing to do is to take the pin from the outrigger pad and put it in there. And I say that because it really won't fit any other thing. Now, it is possible not to even put anything in there. I never put a pin or screw in there, but when I do have the long jib on it with only one boom, with no telescopic sections extended, it will pull up off there. Because if you look at it, it's pulling up right on this right here, but when there is so much weight on it, it does pull up right there also. The drum spins with the locking mechanism like I showed. It works really nice, and if you notice, it's going to be hard to show, but the sheaves even have the pin on them so the line doesn't jump off the sheaves. I have had some jump, but it was only the one on the far end, and that only happened the night that I put it together, and ever since then it hasn't happened at all. Now, coming up to the bridle, it's super nice. 7 sheaves on it. It has that one big center sheave. I believe that's to keep the whole thing level when you do bring it up and down. And if you could hold on 1 second, I'll actually turn the rig so you could get a better idea of the bridle. But here's a better look at the bridle. And these bottom ones will go in that pocket down below, and then you put the pin in, and then I'll lock in between there, and you won't have to worry about it coming out or anything. The rest of it just includes these pennant lines, and they go up to the luffing masts, and I'll get to that in a second. Now, interestingly enough, I'm actually going to lower the luffer to show how this piece works, and it works perfectly. if you notice when we lower the jib, and you can see how smooth it is and how straight it stays. These two pins on the back go into the pockets right there, and that's what this piece does. And what's nice about this piece is it includes etched out walkways on it, and it hasn't blowed. You're probably wondering why. Is because when it's folded down, this would be the top of it, but since it's up, it's like that. Now I'm gonna have to adjust the camera, and then I'll show you the actual jib. So here we have the luffing masts, and the next mast in there, and I'm actually just gonna take this off the tripod to show you. In here also has more etched walkways, and you can see it has a bunch of sheaves. I think that might be a sheave for the rigging when they raise the mast. I'm not exactly too sure. The only thing I question myself on is how to connect these pendant lines right here. If you notice the way I have them connected, it doesn't seem very strong, and to be honest with you, I'm afraid of that breaking, but I can't find a way in the instructions how to connect them, so I just put them on like that. This piece right here actually slides. Well, you won't be able to see right now, but it'll slide on there, and they give you these handrails to put in right there, and they just pop right in. One thing you have to be careful with, though, is the cylinder right here. You could see mine is bent. I was raising the mast, or the jib, and I don't know how it got caught, but it bent somehow. I didn't even notice it until I looked at it. So you have to watch out for that. And all the sheaves are metal on the luffer. The luffer is just as high quality as the crane. And now I'm just going to put the camera back on the tripod, because there's really no need for me holding it. Anyway, the sections are very high quality. It's, like I said, it's just as high quality as the crane. If you notice this cylinder right here, it's the stop, so you don't bring your jib back too far, and it actually works perfect even on the model. There's more etched walkways on top of there. As you can see, and then these just pop in. You can see I don't have that one in right there, but there's another one that goes in right there. I wouldn't glue them, but I'm sure some people have. Each section is actually pretty heavy. It's really high quality, I have to say. And I'm not going to go through every single section, except I do have a particular one that I would like to show. And that's the one that has the midways. And if you notice right here off the pendant lines, which also bolt together, you have these cables that run down and connect to the sections right here, and these are the midways to stop the deflection, or to at least pull the jib so it doesn't bend down. It'll actually bend. It'll bend like that instead of like that, if you know what I mean. And the sun is so strong it's kind of hard to show, but you can see them right there, and they just go down right there. You could even see the pendant lines make a V right there, and they really do work, even though it is just a model. And over here is the tip, and I'm glad that I have both on right now so I could show you the heavy lift tip and the non-heavy lift tip. And I'm actually just going to bring these down because I think there's too much light coming in, and yeah, that's a lot better. Alright, so, and there's also one thing that I really want to tell you. Alright, so this is the heavy lift tip, and then this is what I call the light load tip. There's 2 sheaves on there, there's 5 on here. With the long jib, I run it with just a whip line, as you could tell. But I'm sure you could put probably 2 parts of line on that. I don't think it has much capacity like this. But very nicely made, all metal sheaves, as you could tell. It does bounce a lot because it is so large. And I believe this right here even pops up, and that pops up because if you unpin that, you could pin it to the heavy lift tip. And I really like that a lot. It's actually what I'm going to do after I take this off. I'm going to put a very short jib on it and put the large hook block for a heavy lift. So that's also a very cool feature. These pins on here really don't do anything except hold it. The bad thing about both jib heads, and it seems like they were going to do it but never got around to it, is if you look on this jib head, it has the little tabs right here, and they never put the holes in or the pins. And for those of you that have this model, you probably know as well, this line is always jumping off the sheave and going beside the sheave and whatnot, and that gets really annoying. And it looks like that they were going to do it, but they never did it, and I don't know why. And also, on these sheaves, if you bring the jib down to like a 90 degree like this, the line doesn't stay on the sheave, it actually comes off the sheave and it just goes straight to the block. That also gets kind of annoying. Regardless, still a really nice piece. You really can't deny it. I really don't have too much to say. I'm probably going to sum up the video real quick right now. I actually just want to get a view of the Luffer with the deflection for the end of the video, because it actually is pretty amazing how much it does have even as a model. So to sum up the Luffer goes for $303 about, and the extension kit goes for around $60. Definitely worth the price. When you add the Luffer to the model, it's almost like a whole new different model. This isn't the full Luffer. I heard the full Luffer gets a little tipsy when it's facing opposite of the carrier, so to the side of the carrier. But even with the full Luffer, it doesn't really get that tipsy. It can't handle that much of a load, but obviously, you know what I'm saying. Build quality of the Luffer is extremely nice. I would never got this crane if they didn't have a Luffer for it. Everything about it is just really nice. It's also very easy to take the Luffer off and just put the boom only, because of the whole feature of the Bridle, how you can pull it into the pocket. I've never seen that done on any model before, and because of that, this is probably my favorite model that I have in my collection. And definitely get one if you're into cranes. Like I said over here, it does get a lot of deflection in it, as you could tell. And those screws are pretty tight. It is very annoying to reconfigure with the nuts and bolts, I have to say. You can't deny that it's not annoying to reconfigure, because it's extremely annoying. But and they always come loose, but you can't do anything about it. Anyway, that's the review of the 11200 Luffer. 100% worth it.